Hey everybody, Kenny Wisdom here, bringing you another expanded Friday video. This time we're going to play around with Durant. So a little bit of history on this card for those of you who don't know. During the Cities season when this card was released, so the format was Heart Gold through Noble Victories. Durant was pretty, I'm not going to say dominant, but it was a powerful card. It was a real deck. It won a lot of tournaments. Jason Klaczynski was famous for playing it and kind of popularizing it. I personally won one or two city championships, finished second in another. Cities were the only tournaments that you could really play it in. People did try and play it a little bit afterwards, but cities were really where it shined. And yeah, so with the banning of Lysander's trump card, with the release of certain cards like Shield Energy, some people are trying to bring that back. As you can see, Devour, you discard the top card of your opponent's deck for each Durant you have in play. So the idea is to try and get as many Durants as possible and then Devour for 4. We do have a lot of differences between why Durant was good and what allowed Durant to be good a few years ago and now. The biggest the biggest thing I want to talk about is the fact that Durant still has pretty low hit points. Back in the day, you had a Durant, you could slap an Eviolite on it, and you had a special medal giving it a virtual 110 hit points, which back then, the only Pokemon that could really hit for that much easily were Zekrom and Reshiram. Everything else was 2 or 3 shotting Durant as long as you didn't let them get set up. If you had hammers, it hurt more, and even Reshiram and Zekrom, you could hammer them. You could, attach more special metal, things like that. So, as you can see, this deck does have a lot of disruption in it. We got 4 of each hammer. We've got some trick shovels, things like that. This is kind of a speed version. We have revives to get back our Durants. But going back to my point, I'm not sure how well this deck functions because I don't think that there are analogs to those type of cards. For instance, we had Pichu back in the day that let you search all your Durants out. We had, like I said, Special Metal and Eviolite. The Pokemon were attacking for less. We had the Rotom from Unleashed, I think it was, to let you look at your prizes and swap them to find a Durant if it were prized. And there's just a lot of things about this deck that aren't quite up to par. However, milling can be a very good strategy, even when people were trying to counter Durant before. Just the fact that they were losing 3 or 4 cards a turn was big. And if you get the right setup, you start with a Durant, you attach a Shield Energy to it, you find a hard charm, find some more Durants, and you get started early enough, it's possible that you just mill them out of everything. I say this because I do want to give a fair review of this type of deck. I don't think it's necessarily great, but I do want to try it out. I do think it's an interesting enough space to play with, especially now with the banning of Lysander's trump card, and with disruption decks such as Wailord that have been doing a lot better recently. I do think this deck is definitely worth playing with. I will note that this is the kind of speed disruption version. If you guys want, I do have another version I can play next week or in the future that plays things like teammates to act as like a twins and kind of just as a more controlling, slower version. But for this time, I thought I would try the version I played more, which is just kind of this disruption, hammers, energy denials type strategy. So, again, not sure how this deck's going to fare. I would love for it to be good. I think it's a really interesting strategy. I think it could be good, but I'm definitely not, I don't have super high hopes for the deck. So we're going to hop into an expanded tournament, and I'll see you in a bit. Hey everybody, Kenny Wisdom here, back for round 1 of this expanded tournament. Let's try Tails. We'll be going second. Second's not the worst for us as it does allow us to attack first, and attacking is really important to this deck. It's one of the major regions we can win. I guess that's kind of similar to every other deck. What I mean by that is that the number of times we attack actually matters more in this deck than most others. This hand's fine, but I would love to draw a supporter. We can do something like Level Ball for Durant, attach both the energy and the tool, and then Trick Shovel, but then we're only devouring for 2. So Mega Groudon is actually going to be a kind of bad matchup for us because our hammers aren't going to work once they Mega Evolve, and there's not going to be anything that kind of stops them from Mega Evolving. So we'll see how this goes. Alright, so he birched himself to 4, which means he's going to have more cards in his deck, but also that could slow him down majorly. Wobbuffet's not going to be too big of a deal. Alright, so let's attach like this. Let's level ball. Trick shovel. The opponent's deck. Oh, top? No, I'll discard. Yeah. At this point, I'm just discard. Wait, I just put it on back on top. Okay. Well, I must have misread that ability. What I was going to say is at this point, I'm just discarding any card that I can, because I need to just mill them out as fast as possible, and card quality doesn't really matter. But yeah, I thought I must have just misread that ability. That's not good. Alright, so we are going to get to Enhanced Hammer here. I'm going to go ahead and slap this energy here, and then Devour. We have devoured a lot of good stuff, but I think as long as our opponent can draw energy to attack us, it's going to be pretty hard on us. Alright, so let's go ahead and blow this up. Let's revive the other Durant, and let's play an end and hopefully find some more Durants. Alright, well, didn't quite find them yet. Let's hope this is a heads. It is. Alright, Crushing Hammer could be nice here. It's going to miss, unfortunately. Let's hope our opponent just can't find any more energy. We did just mill at least one. So that would be nice. Our opponent missing any attacks is going to be really nice here. It's unlikely that they do, but you know, for every attack our opponent misses, or even every turn they just don't knock us out, we're feeling pretty good. Uh-oh. Whoops, they're going to go ahead and get a Versus Seeker. We're just going to have to... Oh, they're just playing it immediately, right. I still think we probably just end them next turn. If they want to Mega Evolve, that would be fine, although again it would prevent our hammers from happening, which would be unfortunate. I don't know why our screen is all dark like this. Also can't interact with any of the cards. Oh, there we go. What a weird bug. I've never come across that before. So, like I was saying, if our opponent Mega Evolves, which they did, it's going to be hard because we can't mess with their hand. However, can we... I think we can do this, though. Yeah, okay. Thank goodness. That would have been terrible if we couldn't. Let's just go ahead and Devour. So we're not in a great place. You know, I did the Lysander there because I would like to slow our opponent down by as many turns as possible. Next turn I'm definitely going to Juniper. First Seeker for Karina here can probably find a switch or an escape rope. But definitely going to Juniper and try and just find the maximum amount of cards possible. Let's hope the switching card is priced. But Tool Retriever. Interesting. So our opponent's just going to try and knock off this Headringer and try and go in with this guy. Or he just has a switch already in hand, which would be pretty brutal. Oh, there's a Spirit Link to Mega Evolve. That's good on our opponent just protecting themselves from potential hammers and such. Drops another Groudon, which will be a nice Lysander target. Ooh, Durant at the top's pretty nice. Can't actually use any of these hammers. Let's just go ahead and Skates. Have we level balled? We have. Alright, we can get the full Durant going then. I'm going to go ahead and discard one of each of these supporters. Get my level ball back. Level ball for the last Durant. Attach a metal here. And devouring for 4 is actually where this can get legitimate. Our opponent's one card in hand is likely a supporter. But if it's not, if they stumble for a few turns, you know, discarding 4 when they have 18 cards within their deck isn't. Yeah, Maxi is okay. So it not only was a supporter, but it was just an insane value supporter. So we'll have to see what happens here. If I do the Verse Seeker for Lysander, which are assuming our opponent doesn't Mega Evolve a bunch, I think I will just use. Like I said, they have 13 cards. If we can stall them for a few turns, we'll feel pretty good. Let's go ahead. Just Lysander like this. I'll go ahead and roller skates just to see if I get anything relevant. Trick Shovel's fine. Okay, so I'm doing my opponent's deck. See, but that says top. I don't. Okay, I'm just gonna do this, see what happens. So this is kind of weird. Okay, maybe I'm just kind of misunderstanding how that works. Either way, just gonna go ahead and devour. And now, unless our opponent has any ends, they have 2 more turns to deal with this. And if not, we might get a win here. I don't necessarily think that we have a switch in hands. That's pretty irrelevant. I don't necessarily think that this deck is bad. I might have come across as I thought the deck was, you know, just terrible or something, which definitely isn't how I feel. When I make these kind of videos, I want to be very sure that you guys understand how I actually feel about the deck. And there's a win, so, you know, going into this tournament, I expected to get a win. I thought, you know, okay, I should get a win. If I don't, you know, get a bad matchup in the first round or whatever, it happens. And I don't necessarily expect to win the tournament, but, you know, I think the deck does have its faults, but it's still good. It's not like I think it's terrible. And I just want to make sure that you guys understand where I'm coming from. When I play a deck like, you know, Seismitoad Crobat, I'm thinking, alright, I have a good chance of winning this tournament, just gotta, you know, get lucky, get the right matchups, and play well. And when I play a deck like Durant, I think, alright, I have to get a little bit more lucky than usual and hit the right matchups. So, this is actually interesting because, like I said, this matchup is pretty bad for us. Maybe it's just better than I think because we have the Lysanders to just kind of Lysander the entire time. But turning off all of our hammers and things like Team Flare Gun's pretty bad. So, looks like the next round should start pretty soon, so I'll see you guys then. Hey guys, Kenny Wisdom here, back for round 2. We will be going first. Like I said in the beginning of round 1, going second is good for us, but I just think that going first is better overall. It's possible that this deck is the one instance where going second is better, but I'm not even sure about that, to be honest with you. The reason why you would argue that going second is better is for situations like this, where we're just going to attach, do this, and then end the turn without being able to play our Juniper, because cards like hammers are just too important to us. But I would love if our opponent attaches an energy, we hammer it off, and then we're able to Juniper. Yeah, so there's an energy and a band. And looks like our opponent's going to have to ship the turn back. Who, taking back the band? Oh, no. Oh, attaching the light muscle band. Gotcha. Alright, so let's hope this hits. Very nice. And then, at this point, I don't mind Junipering. I'm fine getting rid of a revive. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's level ball for a Durant. Play it, and then let's Dowsing Machine like this for our level ball to find our 4th Durant. I actually didn't look if there was a 4th Durant in there, so I hope it is. Okay. That would be pretty foolish of me, but it happens. And now we're getting things started off right. You know, this game could go either way, but our opponent is playing a heavy energy cost attacker, has no energy on board. We're devouring from 4 since turn 1. In addition to being heavy energy cost, we've also discarded 5 of their energy. They have our fire Pokemon, which is not good for us, but ooh, there's a DC. We should have kept the hammer in hand. Our opponent can actually attack Yeah, let's just go ahead and Lysander up this guy. And Devour again. Don't want to play the N because I don't want to give our opponent a bunch of cards. And N is nice, can be nice for times where we can give our opponent a bunch of cards and then mill them out. And we're just discarding tons of energy while our opponent must be playing some kind of gimmicky energy deck. Hopefully they don't find any for a while. Looks like our opponent's going in the tank for a bit. And yeah, passes with no attachment. Roller skates is nice. Let's go ahead and trick shovel. Discarding this. Like I said, in this deck you don't really care about what you're going to trick shovel. Ooh, can we hit the trifecta? We can, alright. Drop a Mr. Mime. No reason to do anything else here. We don't need to Lysander yet, so let's just go ahead and Devour. Our opponent actually did attach a fire to a Reshiram, so we're going to have to be mindful of that. We have played 2 of our hammers already. Yeah, so going to have to be mindful if our opponent can hit us, as we are weak, which will be bad for us, but our opponent is loading up this Reshiram, which I hope means that they don't have a switch, or they're just preparing for having the switch, and then we can just mill it out. Again, no reason to play much. I don't want to give my opponents more cards or discard all of these cards simply to find hammers. And with our opponent on 23 cards at this point, I think that we're feeling pretty good, especially with a bunch of energy gone. No switch cards gone yet, though, but a couple supporters. So yeah, opponent has 5 more turns of this. Actually, less than that, I guess, because they're going to draw each time. Enhanced hammer. Might as well use that to get that DCE now. And yeah, still fine with this plan of attacking. They go to 17. We mill them out to 13. They draw to 12. We mill them out to 8. They draw to 7. We mill them out to 3. They draw, and we mill them out. That's the plan. And let's just hope nothing gets in the way of this plan. We do have the Revive in our hand. We haven't found an energy, and this is kind of one of the problems with this deck as well, is that it can be easy to lose from what seems like a winning position. Our opponent can have the ability to DCE and retreat next turn, but again, I don't want to give them more cards. Just want to stick to the plan. We have a high chance of winning now, because we're executing our plan very, very well. Whoops. And we have milled 2, or we have gotten rid of 2 of their DCEs. Alright, so they've attached now. Would be a great time to find a hammer. But I think we're going to go ahead and just Lysander this. Again, nothing here to find another DCE to be able to retreat. And if they could, it might even be too late. They retreat, they KO us, we respond with a Devour for 4. Well, actually, now unless they have a way to react this turn, they're just dead. Yep, and that's the game. So Durant's actually doing a little bit better than I thought. We have made the finals in 2 games that were not too difficult to win. Let's hope we can take the whole tournament and prove myself wrong. Hey guys, Kenny Wisdom back for the finals of this expanded tournament with Durant. We're going to go second. All of our hands definitely reveal what we're doing to our opponent. Opening hand, not bad. Level ball to find another Durant. An energy to attack with. Hammer, skates, and an N. So, can't really ask for much more. Opponent thinking a little bit, trying to figure out what the best Pokemon to start with is, I suppose. So yeah, this deck is kind of overperformed. Like I said, I didn't expect Expected to get a few wins out of this deck. Not quite sure how well it would do, but the fact that we've gotten a few wins, they've been pretty easy, is pretty surprising. Mind you, the decks we've been playing against aren't exactly metagame decks that can happen in tournaments every once in a while, but still interesting to just see the deck kind of operating. I mean, the Groudon deck we played in the first round was totally legitimate, seen playing lots of tournaments and everything, and we just, had the right answers to it. Ooh, Ether. Ether's actually a card that is low-key really good against us. Just any kind of energy acceleration like that, assuming they hit it, can be rough versus hammers. Opponent with 5 cards in hand probably will just play an end next turn, just because I think that we need to draw the cards more than they do. Let's play a Durant. Hammer would be nice here. Nice, gonna knock off this dark. Skates. Hits ahead. Let's go ahead and trick shovel our opponent's deck. Or no. Yeah, wait. Okay, we do put it here. Alright. And I'm fine just junipering here rather than giving our opponent more cards. Let's skate. Skate again? No. Alright, let's hammer again. Get our opponent's deck. Definitely discard that. And then Devour for 2. So, kind of a lower start for us, but our opponent doesn't seem to have too much going on either. We don't have any supporters, but we do have a Lysander if things get tricky. But definitely not an insane start like we had in the last round. And let's see what we ended up milling. Oh, we can't. Okay. My least favorite PTCGO bug strikes again. Ooh, crushing hammer. Alright, so that's something we gotta watch out for. Let's trick shovel our opponent's deck again. Let's get rid of that supporter. Yeah, let's just go ahead and Lysander and Devour. I can't tell what we've been milling, but it seems like we've been milling an okay amount of energy, so hopefully our opponent just can't find energy. Ooh, Ether. Okay, Ether reveals Crocodile, which we're going to definitely mill. Oh, our opponent's resetting it. Okay, so letter for our opponent should let him get out of this. They can choose to either attach and pass, or what's more likely is just attach, retreat, and hit us, just to stack damage. Kind of depends on what they're valuing and what they think the possibility of us having hammers is. Versus Seeker, very nice. Gonna go ahead and get a Juniper. Alright, there's a Durant. Ooh, one of our Durants is prized, important to note. Then we're not gonna be able to get that back. So we're gonna be on the Durant for or Devour for 3 plan for a while. Actually, no reason to attach before I know if we're gonna get hammers or not. Although, it might be right to just do this, actually. Nice, okay, so let's get rid of this guy. And now, devouring for 3 with our opponent with late 20 amount of cards in their deck and an attacker is definitely not where we want to be. I'd say we're on the back foot here, but we can definitely come back. Just kind of depends on what we continue to draw and what our opponent continues to draw. One of the downsides that you're seeing is that one of our Durants is prized. So, one, probably not that big of a problem. It's also a reason why you might want to play Hypnotoxic Lasers so you can actually take prizes, but the deck is kind of tight. But also, something to consider is that if you ever prize more than one, you'd probably be in a fair amount of trouble. Let's attach here. No reason to burn the level ball just yet. I don't think there's much of a reason to switch, because our opponent can do 60. Although maybe we do. Yeah, let's just switch there. Prevent our opponent from hitting us if they find energy. So if our opponent continues to not attack for another turn or two, I think the tides could be turned, but if they have an energy here, they can attack us and at least try to get something. They would need 2 heads to knock us out. Oh, they're not switching actually, they're just attaching to the Thunderous. Interesting, let's go ahead and devour again. No energy? One time, no energy? I'm actually not a big fan of this strategy. I'm a much bigger fan when playing against Durant decks, especially ones that are like the new ones, like that I'm playing here, rather than the ones that are playing in the old days that were playing Junk Arm, because we only have so many hammers, and just retreating and attacking is bad if I have a bunch of hammers and hit heads on them. But this is also a pretty bad situation for our opponent, um, where they're just kind of sitting up on these attackers and waiting for a way to retreat. But if I mill all their ways to retreat, it's gonna be pretty bad for them. Oh, there's a rainbow. Gotta imagine they're gonna retreat at this point. If not, I'll be happy to just enhance hammer the rainbow off. Yeah, so they're gonna go ahead and retreat, and they're gonna hit us. They could very well miss though. 2 tails, alright, one head. So I'm gonna go ahead. I thought. Oh right, they can reflip with Victini. Okay, thought we were experiencing a major bug here. Crushing hammer, no. Let's go discard this. Let's just go ahead and devour. Our opponent only has so much energy next turn. I'll probably just Versus Seeker Lysander. Oh, they find another Dark. Wow. So let's hope they hit 2 tails twice here, because if not, we can be in pretty rough shape. Ooh, they've evolved. Alright, 80s. Now they don't even have to hit heads. So now we're in a rough spot. Send up Durant. I think we're just forced to Juniper here and try and hit revives and such. Alright, let's see. Let's see what happens. Next turn, we only have 6 cards left in our decks. We can't really Juniper. So next turn, I'm probably just going to Versus Seeker a Lysander and bring out that Victini. It will take us, let's see, 7 down to 5, 4, 3, 2. It'll take us 3 more turns if nothing changes. But I gotta imagine our opponent's running low on energy, if they're not just completely out. Alright, so all or nothing here. That's a fine draw, I guess. Lysander. This guy out, I guess. Attack. Devour. Have to survive a few more turns. Let's see if we can do it. Alright, town map. Reveals 2 price supporters and an energy, so Not too bad for us. Fan club. Alright, that's not relevant to the conversation. Oh, there's the energy. Alright, well, it was a good run while it lasted. I guess if we can't see my discard pile either, but I was gonna say, I guess if we could top deck a revive, we also need to find a way to switch in that case. Let's just go ahead and Juniper. Trick Shovel. Oh, I should have done ourselves. I wonder what happens if we Trick Shovel ourselves there. And pass the turn back. We couldn't win them all. Started off pretty slow in this match, and then our opponent just was able to put a bunch of energy on and set up a big attacker, which is the problem, as I was describing in the beginning of the video. There used to just not be these attackers that could efficiently knock out Durant, and now there are. So, made the finals, did a little bit better than I expected. Deck, I think, is probably not as, good enough for regionals or anything like that, but for a shorter tournament might be a good play. I do have another version of Durant we can play next week if you'd like me to. If not, let me know what you'd like me to play next week. This has been Expanded Friday. My name is Kenny Wisdom. Thank you for watching.